Alex, two universities here in Washington plan to partially power their electricity needs through solar farms, hundreds of kilometers away. They say the move will save millions of dollars over the next couple of decades.
University officials also believe the solar plan will make their schools more attractive to environmentally conscious students. As VOA's Jim Randle tells me, this once exotic power source is becoming fairly routine.
Solar panels cover the roof of this and other buildings at American University, creating electricity that is a fraction of the power needed by the campus. AU, George Washington University, and George Washington University Hospital are going a big step further in a deal with Duke Energy Renewables, a division of a large power company.
Jim, why are these universities turning to solar power?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, first and foremost, it makes economic sense. The quality of solar panels has improved to the point where they're much more efficient than they used to be. Also, they've become much less expensive than they used to be. And because of those two things, solar power has become, in this particular case, much more competitive, and they expect to save millions of dollars over the next 20 years.
Duke Energy Renewables' new units will have nearly 250,000 solar panels and generate 123 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year. The switch away from fossil fuels will have the same environmental benefit as getting 12,500 cars off the road.
So there will be significantly less carbon put into the atmosphere. Carbon is blamed for climate change and global warming and so forth and so on. So that seems like a benefit. Probably it may be a little bit less than that because obviously it takes a certain amount of energy to make these things. But I think on balance it'll be a net gain.
So it seems like this is great. I mean, on all sides, right? You've got the environmental assistance here, good for the environment, green, everyone's trying to go green. And then you also have the cost benefit. So what's the downside?
One of the things is that so far solar is a tiny fraction of the energy needed to run the world's largest economy. I mean, if we went completely solar by tomorrow, we would mostly be sitting around in the dark because solar at this point meets, I don't know, a tiny fraction of our needs. Even though it's growing very fast, it's getting better, the financing is getting better, and all of those things are moving in a positive direction. There's a long way to go.
So is that some of the criticism then that we've heard about a shift to solar?
Sure. The other thing is that most electricity comes from coal at the moment. And so people who are digging coal and moving coal and those legacy industries, obviously they're interested in keeping their jobs. And so there'll be some disruption there. But every time there's some sort of innovation, economists call it the creative destruction. And we no longer have an industry that makes buggy whips. They were put out of business by automobiles. But the net benefit of having automobiles versus draft animals or horses, whatever, was pretty profound, and probably we're looking at the same sort of thing here. It's getting to the point where individual homeowners, individual small businesses are doing this not just because it makes customers feel good to do business with them. They're doing it because these hard-headed business decisions made, in a small business where the profit margin is not that great, or at somebody's kitchen table where mom and dad are sitting there saying, how can we save money? This is a way we can save money. We can invest. There are some innovative financing ways that you can lease these things, and you don't have to put a big upfront investment of tens of thousands of dollars. You can lease the things, and it will reduce your electric bill over the next 20 years. And so there's a lot of financial innovation that is moving this industry forward.
And what about globally? Where do we see the future of this?
Well, China's making an awful lot of money, making an awful lot of solar panels, and China has become, in many respects, the workshop of the world. So clearly, that's helpful to them. But other countries and other technologies are moving right along.
And thanks again to Jim Randle for that story. It seems the initial outlay for solar is a bit expensive right now for most consumers, but apparently you can save a lot on your energy bill in the long run with this.
So they say.